Merrix here again with another video game review. This one is going to be of a game that just recently came out, Dragon's Dogma. I don't have the case for it. Sorry. Look it up. The game is about... There's really no story. I have to tell you that right away. There's really no story to it. You start off as a pre-main character, a character that you make yourself. Starter classes come in afterward. First sequence, you fight this big frickin' dragon. Think of Alduin from Skyrim and increase them by 5 times in size. Give them spells and give them fire-breathing attacks, which I believe he had. But the video game starts off as you fighting this dragon with a rusty sword, so obviously you're not going to win. The battle scene lasts no more than 2 minutes if you run up, grab onto him, and just swing your sword over and over again. Yes, you can grab onto the bosses. I like that factor. The next scene, your character gets thrown to the ground and his heart gets taken out with a finger. The dragon brings his freaking claw into his chest, pulls out his heart. Basically, your character stays alive due to magic. Next scene, you pick a class from Fighter, Strider, and Mage. I went with Strider because he uses daggers and long-range attacks. Fighter does not. Mage is a little bit too slow for me. You continue on for a while. You gain a pawn by the name of Rook. Funny name there. I think level 9 character. Yes, leveling up system, pretty awesome. But you can't choose. You really can't choose how he levels up. Basically, whatever class you choose, that's how he levels up. Continue through the game. You get to fight many bosses. You get to create your own pawn. I created my own pawn. The character's name was Bud, which is a rankless warrior for me, a friend of mine. I asked him many questions, what kind of character he would be, all this. He said a mage. So I made a mage character for him, but as soon as Sorcerer came available, switched it to that. Found out it was 10 times better, and it was better than my character, to tell you the truth. Some of the magics were a lot better, killing enemies better than I was. I switched to Assassin, which you could use a sword, dagger, shield, and bow and arrow. The bow and arrow is much better for me compared to the Ranger bow and arrow. Even though the Ranger bow and arrow, he does it, it'll stun the enemy. I don't care for that. But the game is very good. Major problems with it. First one, I saw this from another reviewer who has his own webpage, everything like that. There's no fast travel. Absolutely none. If you could go to these places 2 or 3 times, you have to travel the whole way. That was basically most of the game, was traveling to these locations and fighting these bosses. There were some levels that aggravated me so much, while I was using so much healing herbs, that was ridiculous. You get to fight big enemies, chimeras, which is some people with flying lions or something like that. But it's a lion with the goat head on his back and a snake for a tail. Take out the snake, there goes the long range. Take out the goat, there goes the magic. Take out the lion, you kill them. At first, they're pretty darn hard. Second playthrough, almost too easy. But continue through the game. You do missions for the Duke of Ganseer, some crap like that. Grand Seer. There we go. Which they don't really add up for me. You just basically do random missions to continue on with the story. Decisions you make really don't do anything. Like, I had 2 separate endings. One ending was your character falls for the Duke's daughter, and she is there at the ending battle. You choose her, or you choose to fight the dragon. I fight the dragon regardless. I'm not going to risk someone else's life for that, even though it still happens. Anyway, back to the game. Story, it's not really there. It's really not. The main story find the dragon, fight to get your heart back, done. That's it. It took me about 20 hours to beat the game, 15 to 20 hours. It doesn't keep up with that. One save point, that's it. You have to override everything. So if there's something you missed in an old mission, you have to play the game over again. You can't go back to that point and do it like Skyrim usually did. There's one save point, and that's it. You save over that save point, you cannot go back to where it was. Gameplay-wise, fighting, you get to grab on the big enemies, you get to grab onto them, hit them if you want to, whatever. I usually just go up to the head and just start swinging away. First playthrough, like I said, 15, 20 hours. Boss battles were good. The fighting scenes were very good. You're really limited on certain things, but you can upgrade all these. Mainly, you upgrade one power, whatever. You upgrade one ability, like there's a Scarlet Kiss, I believe the name was, where it's basically a fury of attacks, like 5 hits. Then you get 100 kisses, which is 10. Why not 100? Because that would take too long to end it, and you would get obviously hit. Enemy-wise, goblins, harpies, wolves, chimeras, ogres, bandits, soldiers. Yeah, you get to fight soldiers for some reason. There's a lot of enemies, but not too many. Fighting any other dragons other than the main dragon doesn't happen until after you beat the main dragon, which is there's only one more sequence left to do and the game's over. Which I thought that the game was over after the dragon. It's like, oh, you get your heart back. Game over. Nope. I'll go ahead and go with that. You beat the dragon, get your heart back. All your weapons become Dragon Forge, which is level 4. And you gain a blade, and I mean, if you're a mage, you probably get a staff. If you're a ranger, you probably get a bow. My first playthrough, I was an assassin. I got Dragon Dogma, and that was it. Dragon's Dogma sword. I have 2 of those, by the way. Second playthrough got me another one. After you beat the dragon, you basically have a short sequence of your character just waiting around. The city has actually fallen apart. The main kingdom has fallen apart. And you must go there to see what happened. You actually get to fight the Duke, but something happened to him. He became old and decrepit, which proved that the dragon was keeping him alive. So you fight the Duke for like a short second, and he's swinging a sword like. So it's not. It says duel the Duke. Well, it's not fair when you can't freaking fight. But after you do this, the Duke declares you an enemy of the state, and you must go and basically get all the wake stones. After you do that, you go fight somebody. I call him the Architect, because it makes me think of the Matrix. 2 sequences, you fight them. Then there's one more sequence. 3 different endings to this game, 2 of which you have to retry all over again and still have to do the 3rd ending anyway. One, you go back to living a life peacefully. You don't get weapons or anything anymore. Your character cannot fight anymore. Second ending, you go fight this guy, and you still get killed. You fall back to the earth. You fall, and you become the dragon itself. Restart. You go fight this guy again, and when he's getting ready to explode, you go over and grab him. You hold him down. He stops. You become him, but you have to stab him in the heart with a God's Bane. What happens next? I did not know. It was a whole 2-hour process until I figured it out. I had to go look it up. You have to stab yourself with the God Bane. You fall through, go back to your existence, back on Earth, or whatever planet it's on. Your pawn follows after you, kills himself to have you survive, and initially restart the game that way. That's how you get a New Game Plus. New Game Plus! I don't know if there's an actual part to it. I did not know how to make it harder. Yes. Oh, People know me. I play games on easy, normal. Gears of War I played on normal. People know me. I play it on easy just because I want to enjoy the game. I don't want a real challenge, really. I did with this because you go through these fights, it will irritate you. The goblins, 2 hits will kill them. Griffins, a few hits will kill them. If someone's using magic, it'll just ruin it all. I was level 48 going into the next playthrough. And by the end of the second playthrough, I was 58. You go up basically just 10 levels throughout the whole thing. That is the perfect time to do vocations, which, like, switch to a different one. You can level all those up pretty quick because they go along with the experience you gain, which is a good thing, instead of going up as you level up, because then it would take forever. I would not get this game a really, really high rating. I would not give it a 5. That's too low. I will give it a 7. The major things was storyline was absent. There was no fast travel. You can only really make 1 pawn. I was looking forward to making like 2 each, so that way I can have a group of my own people doing this. But you only get 1. You make 1, you're done. I just had a lot of problems with the game. When you first play through it and fight the dragon, it'll take you a couple tries. Second playthrough, I went up only 10 levels before I came back to fight him again. I beat him within 5 to 10 minutes. That is pathetic. The first time took almost a freaking hour. Those are the boss battles I like, that are freaking challenging. But the second playthrough, not so much. There are people out there that are level 99 still playing this game, and I don't understand why. So Dragon's Dogma for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and possibly PC. It could be a PC game. I don't know if it actually is. But it gets a 7 out of 10 for me. Surprising, because Call of Duty got higher. That says something. This is Delta Merrix, signing out.